when I sent in my profile, I was only an amateur, and I study under Haruko Nanjo, the fourth. And then last month, I became a professional, and I've been preparing for my debut performance in 2 weeks.
Oh! When and where?
So my debut performance is on November 22nd. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
And the doors opened at 6:30 and the performance starts at 7. And it's being held at Tokutokute in Nanjing. It sounds...
It's Friday, yeah.
Funny.
Friday.
Yeah. What do you...
Subject to what?
What is your subject? So, on that Friday, I'll be talking about Mikata Gahara, the battle at Mikata Gahara.
Mikata Gahara.
In Japanese or in English?
In Japanese.
In Japanese.
Really? Yes. Wow.
Is there any versions that was done in English?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah.
So you can translate.
Maybe, yeah. That's one of my dreams for my professional life, is to also perform in English as well as in Japanese. But my main study is in Japanese history, so I perform mostly in Japanese.
Rakugo is done by English.
There is English rakugo players, and there is one Kodan English performer. Yeah. He's my brother. But
Hey, your brother?
yeah, my Kodan brother.
Kodan brother, it's not the real brother.
Okay.
Can you explain a little on Kodan? We don't know very much.
So of course there is rakugo. So rakugo, they usually tell very funny stories or very sad stories. But usually these stories are about people in normal life situations. For Kodan, it looks like rakugo, and maybe most people think you can't laugh in Kodan, but you can. Kodan is mostly about maybe historical figures, very famous battles, and mostly about history. So it's kind of like a history lesson. You're supposed to learn something from Kodan. Yeah.
So you said Shimonoseki, yes.
Yeah.
And when they developed this art of Kodan?
Kodan was developed in the Edo period. It used to be performed on the side of the street, like rakugo. So rakugo and Kodan were performed out on the street. And then Kodan, from there, actually moved into a theater where rakugo stayed on the street.
Oh yeah. When the beginning of the in Edo period or
mid-Edo period, about Bakumatsu time or Meiji is when Kodan moved to the theater.
That's theater. Sorry, that's theater done by Kodan. Only Kodan.
Only Kodan.
Kodan. Not the kabuki or together. Not separate.
When we listen to Kodan, we can understand the story easily.
With some older traditional stories, maybe it's very hard to understand. Because in these stories, they talk about a lot of things that are not normally talked about in Japan now. So things about battle formations or about armor and the different parts of what people wear. And then the names of people and their the people that help them, and then the horse that they ride, what kind of horse is it, what kind of saddle is on the horse. We talk about all these things.
You know every part of the that things.
Yeah. I have
Maybe.
to.
You know more than us.
And how long history of Kodan? We can say a Kodan. Kodan it's a in general
General performing art.
And
so Kodan.
each story is, what do you say? Each story, hanashi or
Yeah.
how long it's a story?
A story can be anywhere. The stories that I'm learning now are about 10 or 15 minutes. And then for a more professional, maybe 30 to 45 to even an hour.
You have some musical accompaniment?
No.
No.
Yeah.
With sense or?
When we come out on stage, there is a drum. Yeah. And it's called I think it's called a tokitaiko, right? So it beats.
Do you have
that.
sense?
Yeah. So a fan.
Fan, yeah.
So we use a fan and a harioki. Yeah. And we use these things to change the scene in our story.
And you say that the title of your first professional story is Mikasa?
Mikata ga hara no
Mikata
monumi.
Monumi. What's the story?
Yeah.
So this.
About
Takeda Shingen?
Yes.
Yeah. すごい。
So Mikata ga hara, the Battle of Mikata ga hara. Takeda Shingen was on his way to Tokyo, or not Tokyo, Kyoto.
Kyoto.
Yeah. And on the way, so about Shizuoka, that kind of place there, on the way, Tokugawa Ieyasu, his land is here. So in order to get to Kyoto, Takeda Shingen had to fight Tokugawa Ieyasu. And the battle happened in Mikatagahara.
Takeda Shingen was died on the way.
He died after that battle.
After
Yeah, so right before he got to Kyoto, he died.
Oh, yeah. But he won the battle.
He won the battle. Yeah,
And,
it was a
it's
huge defeat
Maybe
for
it's
Tokugawa.
only one the lost battle for Tokugawa.
Tokugawa, yeah.
He won the battle, but he died.
He died.
Why?
He was old.
He was sick.
Mm.
I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was some kind of cancer
Oh.
or something, but he died rather suddenly.
You have Osaka school and Edo school of Kodan?
Yeah, I'm the Kamigata
Kamigata.
school.
Why are you interested in Kodan?
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn a lot more about Japanese history. So up until before I started learning Kodan, the only way I could learn about Japanese history was to go to museums and look at exhibits. And then I tried to read books
It's
in
difficult.
Japanese, but of course I can't, right? So I thought if I joined Kodan and I learned these stories, I can learn a lot more words that will help me read the books that I would like to read.
This Kodan is very hard to read for us.
There are some very difficult Chinese characters that come up in the story.
It's in calligraphy.
No, we printed out on a computer.
You don't memorize. So you have a book. So there's some art who never write in mass to mass.
So a person who reads from a book, they're actually called a koushaku. So when Kodan started, that was how it started. Was a person used a desk or a shakudai, and they had a book, and they read it in a rhythmical type of reading style, and that style is called shirabayomi.
え
修羅読み。
修羅場よ修羅場
読み。
書い
I
て
can't write it.
修羅場
あ修羅場修羅場って
バトル
え
バトル
修羅場って
it's a-
修羅場ってあれじゃない
Yeah.
あ
It's
の修羅
always.
場って地獄の
修学旅行の修学シラフ
You can write that.
修羅場
修羅場修羅場風の修羅場
Go
じゃない
through a 修羅場
Difficult kanji.
石石
進むのよ。こうです。
え
進むの
いやいやいや looks like okay
え修羅場読み
読み。
が what is
The
You-
base of 講談。
That is the most traditional kind of kodan.
let's maybe highlight of the story ね修羅場修羅場
Yeah.
あ
So in this type of story, we're talking about the battle, setting up the battle, then talking about the warriors that come out on the battle. What do they wear? What are they carrying? What kind of weapons do they have? Their horse, what does the horse look like? Where is the horse from? What is the horse wearing? And then where are they going? And that takes about 10 or 15 minutes.
And then speak very fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, so it's like a tongue twister.
Tongue?
A tongue twister.
You
Yeah.
memorize all of this song.
I have to, yeah.
Eh, you memorize?
I'm not a kosaku, I'm a kodan.
え
So.
あそう
講談師 should memory all the history.
When in the Meiji period, it became popular for kodanshi to memorize it.
あ
So we all memorize it.
あ like 落語家 like 落語家
Yeah.
うんうんうん It's a very similar point with 落語 and 講談
They're similar and yet they're different.
Anyway,
Mhm.
but you can try. 落語家が can try to do a 講談 vice versa.
It would be a little strange.
Yeah, now okay. うん